I want to talk about what we do to release and heal blocks, doubts, objections, fears, the things that come up. And I know a lot of us know a lot of this stuff, but it's just helpful just to kind of remind us what we can do. And I'm going to draw from my own experience of what I do. But the first thing I want to describe is the kind of myth, the kind of energy, the dynamic of what we're doing and engaging with this process that we're in this weekend and deciding we're going to come together, we're going to vision or revision our life. What happens is we stir the hell up out of ourselves, as we know. And you'll know this from any time you kind of wanted to kind of up your game. Vision comes. Sometimes it's really inspirational and it feels fantastic and you feel, yeah, it's going to happen, and you know, everything's flowing. And then a week or two or even the next day or something, poof, something happens, and the kind of hard reality, as it feels like, kind of bites. You know, how do you translate and transmit that into your life? So I say that just, it doesn't necessarily happen that way, but I just say that to reassure you that if you do find yourself challenged, stirred up, it's totally and utterly natural. It's growing pains. This is what occurs. We stretch and we reach for a new paradigm, we allow it, we dare to dream, and the stuff that's comfortable where it is starts to go and kind of present. And that can happen in a kind of low-key, kind of everyday, sort of niggly sort of way. Or it can be a great big blooming crisis that we hit, you know. I happen to know that some of us here have, you know, experienced, well, we all have, we've experienced that thing where there's a great big rush of energy and vision and inspiration, action even, and then a wall gets hit. And it can just feel devastating for weeks or even months. And again, I'm just saying that not because I expect that to happen, but just to reassure you that that's entirely normal. It's the myth, it is the dynamic of growth. And I often talk about the Buddha at this point. The Buddha on the point of enlightenment, he'd practiced for 6 years with all different teachers. He'd meditated, he'd accomplished, he'd outstripped all these teachers, he'd practiced austerities with his peer group, he'd gone off, and then he went and sat under the Bodhi tree finally on the point of enlightenment, and his greatest challenge occurred right on the point of enlightenment, just like nanoseconds before the massive irreversible breakthrough that he had. And what happened was he got assaulted by, it's all in mythology, he got assaulted by temptation and craving and beautiful goddesses, and you know, that were to lure him away from his sort of dedication. And then he was assaulted by weapons and arrows and, you know, kind of the forces of aggression. And again, he just sat on his seat, and all the arrows and things just turned into flowers and fell at his feet. I don't quite know what he did with the lovely girls. I think he just kept to his seat. I don't know what they turned into. I don't think they turned into anything. I think they probably just gave up. But, pardon me, the big one for me, I think, I relate to this one the most, is what came up the most was an image of himself, like rose up like this, in front of him, and went, "Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You can't do that. You know, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, you don't deserve this, you know." And it was just totally and utterly condemning him. And it was, yeah, it was, obviously it was his ego, if you want to call it that, just sort of totally challenging him. And so, again, he sat there, and what he did, I love this bit, he just touched the earth, like that. And the earth goddess rose up out of the ground and gave testament to the Buddha's right to be on the diamond seat, the adamantine throne. And I love that it was the feminine wisdom that rose up. It was like, yeah, he's done it. He deserves this. I give testament to this person. So to me, kind of in terms of psychology and spiritual mythology, it's like, well, yeah, just touch the earth. You know, touch your feminine wisdom and let it speak and nourish you and encourage you. And after that he went boing and he got enlightened, and it never changed after that. So I'm just telling you that in great sort of detail because it's just very inspiring. And often I have to remind myself when I'm feeling my most wretched, because us intense, conscious, intelligent, bright, energetic, loving, open-hearted people are intensely passionate, so that when we are intensely positive, our shadows are equally intense. So we can feel that we flipped to our absolute worst just on the point of enlightenment, as it were. So take heart if you find yourself at the point of, you know, just absolute appalling, oh my own stuff again, or I thought I'd dealt with this, and it's all come up. The chances are it's because your being knows, your deep being knows you're on the threshold of a massive breakthrough. So it's a really good sign. So yeah, that's one thing just to bear in mind as a sort of general understanding. You know, when I'm in crisis, when I'm feeling terrible, and I can remember numerous times when it, you know, I felt, you know, things were as bad as they'd ever been, and then within days or minutes sometimes, they became better than they'd ever been, because I just touched the ground, kept the faith, kept the nerve, and allowed the next thing to materialise.
That's so reassuring.
Yeah, it is reassuring. Yeah. And it is, you see it, you know, you see that mythology working out in life all the time. It must be some sort of universal principle. It just that's why the Buddha story is the way it is, because it's capturing the essence of a human dynamic that just plays itself out in all sorts of situations. So I guess that's my first tip of how to deal with objections, is just touch the earth, recognise that you are having one of those moments and it just gives you a little bit of perspective. You're not lost, you're not so identified with the upset that you've forgotten who you are. A little bit of you remembers that you're in process, and that actually you're on the point of an enlightenment and insight and breakthrough. That's the first big general tip. And as I say, it seems to work. I mean, it's great if you can phone up a friend and they can remind you, because often you forget when you're in that state of mind, you kind of lose hope. So, yeah.